Hi, my name is Scott Schoettlin. I'm a real estate investment advisor specializing in multifamily real estate here in the St. Louis area. I come to Realty Exchange with well over a decade of experience as a wealth manager. Now, as a wealth manager, I spent countless hours poring over the benefits and risks of all different types of investments, including investments in capital markets, fixed income investments, as well as real estate. In this current economic environment, I see real estate as the clear winner when you're looking at developing growth in your portfolio. Even Warren Buffett, who built his fortune in the stock market, has been quoted recently saying that he sees real estate as one of the best investments today. So let's take a look and compare and contrast some of these different investment options. Let's start by looking at the stock market. We'll use the Dow Jones average as an example. Over a long period of time, you can say that the market has given you a return that has outpaced inflation. But if you look a little bit more closely, that can be misleading. If you go back to the turn of the last century, all the way back to 1900, from 1900 to 1922, we saw tremendous volatility in the markets. We went through World War I, and then once we got to 1922, we saw the market, after a lot of volatility, return to the same level where it began in 1900. We saw a precipitous drop during the Great Depression. Those that invested at the peak of the market in the Great Depression saw that it took nearly 30 years for the Dow to return back to the same level. In more recent times, 1960 to 1982, we saw the same scenario play out. Tremendous volatility, where in 1982 we saw the Dow had returned to the same point where it left off in 1960. We don't have to look that far back, though. In our recent past, we can look at the turn of the 21st century. Back to 2000, up to this point, we've seen tremendous gyrations in the market, more volatility than we've seen in years past. After all of that volatility, investors, they've actually dubbed this the lost decade, but it's actually gone on a little bit more than a decade now. We're virtually at the same place where we were back in the year 2000. And it doesn't seem that the picture is getting any better. Right now, the market still faces tremendous headwinds. We've got global instability, we've got record national debt, the looming fiscal cliff, and we still have high unemployment. And the one area that is most concerning to me is we have an aging population that is at a point where they're moving from having an interest in growth investments and they're moving over toward fixed income investments. And that's going to play out and have a major impact on investments like stocks. Speaking of those income investments, let's look at that. Fixed income investments would include investments like bonds, annuities, CDs, and even money markets. Now, people have gone to those investments for really two reasons. One, relative safety of principal, and two, because they generate an income that people can use to live on, typically in retirement. Now, currently, we're at a historic low rate of interest. So people who are invested in those areas, for one, are having a real difficult time drawing enough income from those investments to live on. Secondly, if we start to see inflation rise and the Federal Reserve is forced to start raising interest rates, we could see the principal invested in those types of investments get hammered with the rising rate environment. And for people who are going into those at a time when they're retired, that's just a time that they cannot afford to lose their money. So let's compare this to why real estate and why in St. Louis. Well, St. Louis is a very unique market when it comes to multifamily investment property. We've got a large number of properties that are available in inventory. Secondly, St. Louis enjoys a very low rate of vacancy. And that's a trend that we're actually seeing to continue to improve. So with low vacancy rates, a large number of properties to choose from, and then also we have very good valuations on these properties. Typically, an investment in a multifamily unit in St. Louis, you can get very high cap rates and you can enjoy good cash flow off of those investments. If you're not looking at real estate as being another part-time job, there's enough profit that you can get with those cash flows that you can even hire property management and make it more of a turnkey investment for yourself. So I think that there are some really unique aspects to real estate, particularly in St. Louis, that make it very attractive. One of my favorites is something called using OPM, and what that stands for is other people's money. Now, with the historic low interest rate environment that we're in, one advantage to that is that you can borrow right now at historically low rates. So you can use leverage by borrowing other people's money to make your investment. Secondly, with real estate, you're allowed to use renters who pay you income, and you can use that income to pay for your investment as well. So using other people's money is something that's kind of unique to real estate investing that you just don't get in other investments. A good example, imagine opening up a mutual fund account and asking people to sign a contract promising to pay money into your mutual fund account for you on a monthly basis. It's probably not going to happen, but that's exactly the way it would work with real estate and using other people's money in the form of rent, as well as other people's money in the form of leverage of borrowing at historically low rates. So for all of these reasons, I think real estate, when compared to other places that you could be investing your money, is one of the most attractive places you can look at. Now, personally, I joined Realty Exchange for several reasons. One is because we're a local company. We've been here for 40 years, and we specialize in this area of multifamily real estate investing. So I found that to be very attractive. But also, the firm is the absolute leader in this space, not only in the St. Louis metro area, but also in the state. And due to the reputation that we have in this space, we currently have opportunities with investors that are always looking to expand their portfolios. On the other side of the coin, we also have people who are interested in selling properties, and oftentimes we'll have opportunities that are not even listed that you will not find available anywhere else. And I think that gives a great advantage to being part of this organization with Realty Exchange. And bottom line, you can be confident that whether you're buying an investment property or if you're looking to list an existing property, that working with me and allowing me to represent you, you will expect the best outcome.